everyone. Welcome to Work Love Wednesday. Sam Smeltzer here for Work Love Wednesday. It is time for Work Love Wednesday. Good morning, Facebook, Instagram, and welcome to Work Love Wednesday. We're a little early this week because today I'm going to practice the art of self-care, and during our normal time, I actually will have a massage, and I'm really looking forward to it. But still wanted to hop on and do a little bit of chatting for Work Love Wednesday. And in fact, it's very appropriate because I have been thinking about moving the time to start earlier, just because then there's no way that scheduling conflicts get in the way of me doing this, and I really, truly enjoy it. And as I've been kind of thinking about Work Love Wednesday and what does that mean to me, when I started it, I always have this habit of trying to do what other people are doing. Same thing with the podcast. And then slowly it becomes what I guess is my art form or my expression of it. And so when I think about Work Love Wednesday, what it really has become is my weekly reflection, things that I've been going through as I've been working on myself personally and professionally. What is something that has really been almost my aha moment of the week that I want to share with you? And it's been really cool going back and watching that's already what's kind of been in these videos are these aha moments and sharing them with you. And last week was a tough week for me in general. And I knew I was kind of dreading doing the video, wanted to stay consistent because it's one of those things with those goals, but at the same time, really nervous about doing it. And I crammed so many topics in there and then was trying to rush through them because I didn't want to talk for too long because I just, emotionally, it was challenging. And then I realized I just had to back up and, we're not here to do an hour-long show or even a half an hour long live show. I just want to share a couple of nuggets. I just want to hopefully what is filling up my cup a little bit will help fill up your cup a little bit. And so as I kind of had this new perspective on Work Love Wednesday and my intention for it and how it's filling me up and hopefully filling some of you up that have been tuning in every week, it became very important to me for me to be able to do this every week. And so I'm thinking about coming every week at 7:45. I think that's right around where we are. We're at 7:49, but getting things situated. Still trying to figure out where to put the phone for the Instagram so that I feel like Facebook has the better view, the better side of Sam. And Facebook is Instagram, I need to be closer in this way. So I'm still working on that. I'm going to figure it out. I'm totally going to figure it out. So this week, my aha moment, and it really kind of came full circle yesterday as I had the privilege of driving to Harrisburg. I'm very, very lucky that I have some clients that I work with up in Harrisburg. And I'm always a huge fan of going, when I don't have an office space, trying to search and find a really cool place to do coaching sessions and interactions. And we actually got to go to Midtown Scholar Bookstore, which is a really old bookstore that I've never been to. It is really, really cool on 3rd Street in downtown Harrisburg. And I got a couple of really cool books, which I just want to, as I digress, and show you. But this one I found because they have used books, they have new books, and it's just it's like a library, but you can shop in it. It's awesome. It's awesome. And so I found this one right off the bat that's called Zen and the Art of Making a Living, a practical guide to creative career design. And this book had me by the title. It's by somebody who is a career counselor, guide. And for my HR background, I've seen a lot of career guiding books, but most of them have this practical kind of feel. And I'm sure those of you that are in the HR field know what I'm talking about. This one, on the preface, he talks about this is a career guide for human beings. But here's where it really got me. It's really a book about love and action, about joy, about beauty, about caring. It's for people who want to express their talents in meaningful ways that serve others. Its purpose is not to cram you into some category or stuff you into a gray flannel box. Its aim is to assist you in developing what you need to express what's in you in the outer world. In other words, it's designed to help you do your thing. If you don't know what your thing is, it will even help you find it. That's the good news, and no question about it, this program works. But those words really resonate with me because it's a lot about the work that I do. It's not, I'm not a big fan of the one size fits all. And when people call and they want something like that, then I can make recommendations and lots of referrals. There's lots of great books out there that you can totally do. But when we're talking about career development or professional development or being passionate and purposeful, yes, we have some generalized frameworks and programs, and we just brought back leadership ideology. It's called now the leadership ideology platform because I think it's a basis. But every one of those workshops is 100% experiential. It takes into account what you're going through and really helping you to show up at your best. And that's really important to me, that every program takes into account the individuality that you bring to that all of us understand things differently. And that's what makes the workplaces such a beautiful world that we live in. That's what makes communities so awesome, is that we have all this individuality. So that was one book. The other one that I found, which I thought was a Disney book because it just looked really pretty, was this one here, The Legendary Ladies. But it has all kinds of myths and fables and introduces you to all kinds of goddesses to empower and inspire you. And it's just beautifully illustrated. So win-win. But anyways, as I was driving up there to go to my meeting, I started to engage in audiobooks. And I actually finished one that I have been... listened, read. Is that what you call it? I don't know. Read to it about earlier this year, most of it. And I love this book. And then you kind of get to a place in the book where either life just picks up and then you kind of forget about it a little bit. But I noticed in my Audible account that I only had like 50 minutes left. And I said, well, that's a perfect thing for a drive up to Harrisburg and back, that I can finish this book. And the book is by Colette Baron-Reid, who I'm a huge fan of, and so you should check her out. And the book is called Uncharted, which is just incredible. And if you're somebody who believes in connecting to spirit and wants to know how to have that all the time, this book is all about that. It's all about getting past the spiritual amnesia that a lot of us are born with and finding our connected path back. And so I was finishing up basically the half of a chapter and then the last chapter. And Colette talks about the small self. The small self is what she refers to as the ego. And I'm a big believer in this. And I know there's a lot of theories out there, but I know everyone still has their own opinion. But I truly believe those of us who are really passionate professionals, those who are living our life intentionally and purposefully, can agree with me that we have ego, which is really fear-driven. It's that voice on our shoulders that tells us don't do something, or we should be afraid of this. This isn't right. This isn't safe. And I'm not talking about safety like physical safety. I'm talking about the illusion of what we think is not safe, of pushing ourselves to a place of discomfort and learning. And then there is the true connected or our authentic voice, or our inner guide, whatever you want to call that. And that is the voice that typically will not fight ego in any scenario. That voice will wait for the opportunity to speak. So if in the moments of quietness or meditation or prayer, that's why I think these practices are so impactful, because they allow you to quiet the mind and hear that voice. Now, if we don't make those times or those opportunities, ego is more than happy to just dominate and fill us with all of those other things, those fears of why we can't do something or why we shouldn't do something, or what other people would think. All of that is held by ego. So I say all this because she talks about small self, and she talked about one of the biggest lies that small self tells us as healers. And being an HR practitioner and working with a lot of my colleagues, I believe a lot of us are healers that are not in the traditional kind of fashion. And I think any of you that really love being a leader or in people development, I think you are a healer as well. Whereas you serve people, you're there for people. You know, there's more healing than we need than just physical healing. There's mental and spiritual healing. And a lot of that is done through connection. And I think there's a lot of healing that has to happen in the workplace. I mean, we're there on average 90,000 hours in our entire lifetime. So 90,000 hours with people and in an environment that's going to have an impact on us. And for many environments, you know, HR is the resource to help make sure that that is an environment that I can thrive on or thrive in as an employee. And so you are doing healing, and we can totally get down into that. But I view HR as healers. A lot of us are healers, even those that don't want to embrace it. There is healing that is happening on a different kind of capacity and a different kind of concept, but it's happening. And so so when talking about small self and talking about this healing concept, the biggest lie that she mentioned, that small self mentions to us, that tells us as healers in the world, is that we have to have this huge impact on the world or we don't matter. We're taught that, and I say it all the time, I think bigger is better. And this is why it really resonated with me, because when we have an impact on one person, that is still healing. That is still changing the world. We don't understand the ripple that we send moving forward. And this was a really great kind of ending to my week. At the end of last week, I attended DK, my good friend Doug Knight's service, and was incredibly moved by not only the social media feeds that are still continuing of the people who love and miss him or were impacted or touched by him, but being at the service and realizing how many different people, the diversity that was brought together, and being inclusive and feeling inclusive there, let me see that somebody like him doing individual interactions made a huge, huge difference in all of these people's lives. And you could see it. You could just see all the notes that are there. And so when we are taught to think that the only way that we make a difference in this world is if we have this big impact, we discount that those small, simple actions when we're doing things that allow us to change someone's life, even shift it just a little bit better, is having a magnificent, large impact. And sometimes those ripple effects, and as they build together, create something mammoth. And I saw that come to life last week when I went to DK service, but not only that, just the whole time of celebrating his life. It was amazing. And it was very eye-opening to me and humbling and repositioning what that path of doing healing work and serving others looks like. The other thing that she mentioned that I think is really interesting, especially because we're a week out from Vision Fest. And in Vision Fest, I really push this practice, because I really believe in it, in calling what I'm calling now a connected canvas, which is basically a map of knowing that you're on the right path, that you're energetically moving through whatever growth stages you need to in the next coming year. And so in Colette Baron-Reid's book, Uncharted, at the end, she talks about that sometimes we should expect that small self is going to get loud. Our ego is going to get loud. We're going to be afraid. We're going to not feel safe. It's not 100% of the time, we're not going to be able to be connected. And because of that, we're going to have detours. And sometimes we're also going to choose to just take the back roads, or what she calls the scenic drive, and still getting to where we want to be, still getting to our dreams. And I say this because I think, just because you choose to take the longer path or the scenic route, because that's what back roads are, the scenic route. And I know I do it. I know Mary Rose does it periodically. We just like to take the scenic route, even though it might add another half an hour to our drive or whatever it is. But you can take the scenic route and still get where you're going. And it doesn't mean that you made a wrong decision. And sometimes you're even better equipped or ready for when you get to the end of that road and you get to your dream destination, because you've taken the time to really fully appreciate every step along the way. And so I ask that when you're looking at, your path, and as you're doing reflections in the beginning of the year, which I know all of us do, whether we go to the gym, we do vision boarding, we do goal setting, we have one of the gazillion journals that are out there, whatever you're doing, we are thinking, are we going in the right path? Do I know what I'm doing with my life? Am I happy with my life? Am I one step closer to what I want or not? Am I moving in a direction that I can't get to where I want to be? And as you're doing that, add this perspective of, maybe I am just on a detour. Maybe I am taking back roads to my dream, and I should be enjoying the scenic view. Because I guarantee you, when you take that scenic view, you get some experiences that you would never get if you're on the highway driving 95 miles an hour to get to your destination, and you still get there. But will you fully enjoy it? And one of the examples that, as we close, that I really resonates with me, and I see it a lot when I see people who get very close to getting to success, and they can see it. Allie's saying hello too. But getting close to their success is they get so excited that they start not paying attention and being present to other things that are just as important when you get there. And so they'll just hightail it down this highway to get there. And they're going to get there. But will you fully have the dream if you can't take in all the experiences? And so think about the relationships that are around you. Thinking about the things that you want to do to add to that, and to make things just more enriching. I mean, think about the full, complete path, and make sure that you're taking the winding path that you want to your dreams. So those are my thoughts for today's Work Love Wednesday. I'm so glad that we've had a couple people been able to join us this morning, because I hopped on a little bit earlier. I think I really like this time frame because it's actually really quiet, and it's really perfect to do kind of a weekly reflection. Becky's on Instagram. Hi, Becky. I miss you and I love you. You're so... But everybody have a great day, a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.